Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Jones, the Bluff City Cowboy, coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee. And week one of NFL football is officially behind us, and we are looking ahead to week number 2 with another division rival in the New York Giants. Should be a great game. We got a lot to discuss tonight. Of course, whenever we have a rivalry, we always have a special guest. So Amanda Foster, co-owner of DC4L, is here with us again to talk some Cowboys versus Giants.
Hello.
Thank you for joining, Amanda.
Always my pleasure. How are you?
Good. Got good news and bad news. For the people watching. Well, I'm not talking about what we just talked about. I was talking about something different. I won't take the show political.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Duron Bland.
Oh, we'll get there in a second.
We'll get there.
But the bad news is nobody won the second jersey last week. Luckily for us, we got a lot of optimistic Cowboys fans. So a lot of you guys were going Cowboys win by a high margin. Actually, Amanda and I were the ones that were the closest of everybody from last week. So the bad news is we didn't give away that jersey to start the show off. The good news is, for those of you who are watching tonight, we will give away that second jersey. Yeah. So stick with us to the end of the show. We got a trivia question lined up. The first one who gets it right will win that jersey from 951 Sports. Amanda, again, tell the people what jersey that they will be winning tonight.
It is a throwback DeMarvion Overshown jersey. It's a really nice custom replica. It is a 13, but the change of the number was kind of, in the middle. We didn't know. So needless to say, we've got this jersey. It's really awesome size, small to 3XL. And it is really, really nice. It's the Thanksgiving style jersey. It's the number 13 with Overshown. You can't beat it. So,
yeah. All right. So see, the views are growing pretty steadily. Got a couple of people joining us in the comments. Thank you for joining us. Special Potion. Been a regular for the past couple of weeks. So thank you for joining us tonight. And then a guy who's been a regular since day one, all the way back to the Cowboys own days, Jack Meeker. Thank you for joining as always.
Yeah.
For those of you who are watching from YouTube and X, if you get a chance, go over to the DC4L Facebook page. Hit that like button. Join in the conversation. It's a great space. The admin are on top of everything. So you can come in, you can voice your thoughts without the threats of being bullied or hearing hate speech or getting any type of spam messages. Also, always giveaways, always trivia questions. It's a very knowledgeable group. So there's always going to be somebody in there who posts a very knowledgeable question, and you're going to get some really good feedback from it. So if you like to deal with Cowboys dialogue, or you just want to learn something about the Cowboys, you want to keep track of all the latest news and notes, or you just want to have a chance to win some prizes and giveaways, all of the above can be found in the DC4L Facebook group. On top of that, DC4L also has a YouTube channel. So for you guys who are watching from YouTube, looks like most of you guys are watching from my YouTube channel. So if you get a chance, go over, type in DC4L in that search bar, hit that subscribe button for the DC4L Facebook group. And those of you on Facebook, go find both of us, Bluff City Cowboys and DC4L Facebook group on YouTube. And we still have some great giveaways once both pages get to 1,000.
Yeah, we do.
All right, so that's pretty much all the housekeeping for the day. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of the show. So before we talk about the Giants game, we do have to do a quick recap of last week's game with the Philadelphia Eagles. So let's go ahead and get into that game recap.
Game recap.
All right. So as you guys know, hard-fought game. The Cowboys really earned the respect of everybody around the country that thought we were going to be bottom dwellers and get blown out every week, even though the Cowboys fans who follow the team knew that wasn't going to happen anyway. But hard-fought game, came down to the wire. Unfortunately, we couldn't pull it through. Cowboys fell 20-24 at Philly. I just got a couple of notes, offensive and defensive, and then I'll let Amanda give her thoughts. So, offensive notes first. Shotty's play calling was an A+ all around. I mean, you can see the vast improvement in play calling from last year. You saw him taking chances. If not for 3 different drops, all of those big plays would have led to 20, 30-yard gains and or touchdowns. You saw a lot more motion. You saw a lot more shifts. You saw all of our athletic offensive linemen doing more pulling. They used the tight ends as blockers. We finally got a fullback in the backfield. I mean, everything was just perfect. You take away those 6 drops in the game, and everybody around the country will be looking at Shotty in a completely different way after the way he called that game.
Yeah.
Point number 2, and we'll talk about Blue in a second, but Miles Sanders is definitely on a short leash. I mean, you got to give him credit for the long run, but to fumble in that situation first game, unacceptable, especially for a veteran trying to earn a roster spot. Tyler Guyton looked really good.
Really
I
good.
know, yeah. I know a lot of people are kind of focusing on that one play where he kind of slapped the guy, but he had a lot of plays like that. I saw 2 really bad plays from him where the guy beat him and he basically had to tackle him. Outside of those 2 plays, Tyler Guyton was probably our best offensive lineman, which is surprising to say. So kudos to him and the hard work he put in this offseason. Point number 4, Booker had a great game, but watching the all 22, you can still see some communication issues when they did stunts or when there was a late blitz. So great game by Booker, but there's still a couple of things that have to be cleaned up on the offensive line as we move forward. Last point, Javonte Williams. I know the fan base was like, we need to get a running back. Javonte Williams is washed up. He showed us a lot of what a lot of fans saw in Denver. He was explosive. He pushed the pocket. He always fell forward. He never had a negative play. Javonte Williams is the type of guy. He's not going to give you a 40-yard run, but he's never going to give you a run less than 2. So you're always going to end up with a 2nd and 7 or better with a running back like that. Now, I know that doesn't give us the home run we like, but I'll take 2nd and 7 any day rather than what we saw in years past.
I want to make a note to Williams' comment here about Sanders looking slow. Almost anyone you're really going to throw out there was going to look slow with who was chasing him. I don't remember the name of the player, but he runs a 4.3. So, yes, Sanders isn't the big fast guy. He's an older man. You got to be up front. He's old. But in his defense, the person chasing him runs a 4.3.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of like you get someone like a Turpin out there being chased by, I don't know, who could we, like by Mozzie almost.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, apples to oranges.
Yeah. And by the way, that linebacker had a running start.
Yeah.
So when Miles saw the hole, he started to accelerate. That linebacker was already running full speed. He was already running when he saw Miles, and then he cranked it up. So Miles almost had to start from 0 because he was waiting for the hole to open. This guy was already on the move, and he had an angle.
Right.
So, yeah, I definitely did want to get that touchdown, but, yeah, just a tough break all around right there.
Agreed.
I agree with that, William Wiggins.
We all agree that, but I think it's I don't even like when Marcus said earlier that Sanders is on a short leash. He means that Phil Maffa has 3 games left before he can come off IR.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he means. Maffa impressed enough in the preseason. I do not suspect Miles Sanders to be here once we can get them guys back on the squad. So.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. I see we got Jeff joining us. Appreciate you tuning in, Jeff. We also had Donald Ford joining this week. It's a lot of good stuff in it, Donald Ford. Yeah, great performance all around. David
I
Dermer, appreciate you joining us as well.
I know there's no such thing as a moral victory. I understand that. But walking away from that Cowboys game with all the doubt everyone had with Coach Schottenheimer, what this team could do without Micah and everything else, when you look at what we did, there's a lot to be extremely hopeful for. And we weren't playing nobodies that we lost to. We kept it very, very close to the team that just won the Super Bowl.
At
So
home.
yes, there's no at their house. Yes. So there's no moral victories. But when you look at what we did, people should be excited to move forward in this season. And I think y'all are going to, and don't get overly excited this coming week. Let's tone down our expectations because we know who we're playing.
Yeah. We were only 3 drops away from not having to punt that whole game.
That game, CD, man.
Yeah.
We have an admin that calls it the yips, so I've started calling it the yips. If you watch baseball, you know what the yips are. So CD got a bad case of the yips, and I was real frustrated. Why have 2 star wide receivers and you're not throwing one of them the ball?
Yeah.
I got a little frustrated with that. CD's dropping the ball, throw the ball to George Pickens. I didn't quite understand, but Coach said that just because you saw CD get a lot of passes this time, get a lot of opportunities, next week it could be George. He said, we're not going to be predictable, which I also like that. So
now, and I agree. Pickens should have gotten more balls thrown to him. The only counterpoint I would say to that, the plays that they threw weren't bad plays. It's not like Dak overthrew him. It's not like Dak threw a bad pass he had to make a Superman play for. All these balls in the right in the hands. So
right in the hands.
Even though we should have used Pickens more, Dak made the right read. The guy just didn't come through. And when you're dealing with a guy who's top 3 receiver, you got to give him grace on some stuff. So if it would have been Tolbert, I say, yeah, he doesn't see the ball again for another 3 weeks. But with CeeDee Lamb, you just got to, if he's open, you got to keep going to him. That's just a part of being the best.
Lamb. Yeah, it's CeeDee Lamb. Let's talk to, on things that I'm very excited about. Now, this is going to also lead into the Bland situation, but the fact that we held them to 70 yards on the outside, and that was one pass for 6 yards to AJ Brown, and I think it was 46 yards to Devontae Smith simply because I had 4.6 points in fantasy, and I think it was 46 yards. But I'm pretty excited about it. So
they didn't just go straight Tampa 2 like everybody thought that Eberflus would go. They mixed in a lot of zone. They did a lot more cover 1 than I would have expected, but they did mix in some zone. Corners played well, and like you said, we'll talk about Bland in a second.
And I also want to make a note to everybody, because I've argued this point till I'm blue in the face this week, so I'm going to say it here too just to get it. 44.2% pressure rate to the quarterback. We're number 2 out of the top 5 for getting to the quarterback this year. Not this year, this past week. And that's without Micah Parsons. The pressure was there. And everyone's like, yeah, but there's no sacks. Sometimes sacks don't equal pressure, especially when you have a mobile quarterback. Jalen Hurts is going to get out of that pressure.
Yeah.
So Maris Leofow should have been on the field, should have been spying him. He's the fastest. I don't understand that. Schottenheimer said he's got to work his way up. I'm not sure what that means either. But I'm excited to see what this team can do. And Kenny Clark already proved his weight in gold.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What was it? 6.6 yards average without Kenny in and 2.2 with him in, I think was the number.
That was the number, yep. Yeah, Jeff kind of said that too. With a mobile quarterback, we need to spy.
Yeah.
On their point, let me go to my defensive notes. I think I may have put that in there.
Okay. I jumped you, huh? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I was getting excited.
You just brought it up. Interior line drastically improved. You brought up the note with Kenny Clark. We completely shut them down in the second half. Like, they tried their best to try to run the clock out, and they just couldn't because we were stuffing them nonstop. And that goes from Osa to Clark to
Didn't
Toy,
Toya play?
Toya played well.
Mozzie. We
And
were right, by the way. Mozzie was inactive. I still can't believe it.
yeah, well, you were right.
I was okay. That's right.
I
I was
thought there
right.
was no way that they would have him inactive week 1, but
I
yeah.
still can't believe I was right. I don't think he's going to be here long, Jeff. If you got a 7th round draft pick starting before you and you're a 1st round pick on your 3rd year, you probably got a really short leash too.
Yeah. Talking about the running game, and you brought this point up, our edges lack contain. Like if you watch the first half, of those 3 runs that Jalen had,
Yeah.
the 4 runs, I take that back. 2 of them were because Fowler played hero ball and ducked inside of the tackle and gave up the outside. One of them, Ezaraku was just blatantly held, and the refs didn't call it. And then there was one where I don't know what Sam Wills was thinking, honestly, but I can't even put into words how bad he messed up on that play, but definitely lack contain. So watching those plays let me know why they brought in Clowney, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well. Brought up the points about the corners played well in man and zone. So it wasn't just straight cover 2. They did mix it up. Then number 4, the linebackers played well, but they showed lack of athleticism in space. Ice cold Cowboy, 100% accurate. Yeah, they were crashing the whole time, Jeff, and they were putting us in bad situations.
Fowler really surprised me. I don't know if it was I don't know. That was really bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Going from what he went from last year to this, I was like, whoa, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Donald, 100%. I mean, I could go grab 10 photos right now. Poor Sam Williams got the he who shall not be named treatment. Poor guy.
Yeah, definitely. So number 4, let me focus on this one for a minute. And this just goes down to people's perception and just looking at the same thing and seeing something different. When I watched the All 22, I didn't see Kenneth Murray have a bad game. Like I saw people just butchering him like he shouldn't be on the field. Now, the Saquon Barkley stiff arm, that's the one I saw getting spread around. And that's one of the reasons I hate. That's one of the reasons I don't want to show like footage on here, because I don't want to be the guy who just focuses on one play and says this guy sucks or this guy's great. And I just keep showing the same one play over and over again. And you guys, you know who does that quite a bit. But he had the stiff arm. There was one play where he did read the wrong hole on the inside run. Barkley may have gotten 3 yards or 4 yards instead of getting stuffed at the line. There was a third play where I believe it was one of those Jalen Hurts runs, and he could have cut him off sooner, but he took a bad angle, but he still got him out of bounds. It wasn't a first down run. It was like a 6-yard run. Outside of those 3 plays, I didn't see Kenneth Murray have a bad game.
I didn't either.
I mean, if you watched all 22, he spent the majority of the day covering the slot receiver and the tight end, which is a pretty good tight end. So he was more than keeping up in that aspect. Now, Jack Sanborn's a different story. We might have to call him Jack Quicksand Born, because he looked like he was walking in quicksand the whole game. He just looked a step off in every situation. I'm not sneak dissing you. If it's true, it's true.
He said a diss ain't a diss if it's true.
Exactly. But yeah, you're right. He did freeze on a couple of occasions, but in his defense, if you go back and watch, they were playing a zone, and the Eagles were doing a lot of crosses with the tight ends and the slots, and he was carrying guys downfield. So he couldn't leave his zone until he saw the quarterback go past the line of scrimmage. So a lot of people saying he froze, but they don't talk about how he was in a zone. He wasn't a spy. Um, he wasn't a contained guy. He was playing coverage in a zone against nickels, against slots. So I don't fault him for that. Now, Jack Sanborn, we can have a very long conversation about why Leofow should be a starter next week.
I sure hope he is. Like he had such so many good games last season.
Yeah.
So you look at that, I'm not the coach, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely missed Overshown that game.
I have thought this whole time Marcus was going on about the LBs. I was like, man, we just need to get Overshown back.
Yeah.
And Donovan Wilson, there were a few times that I was like, whoa, Dono. I'm like, where's this been?
Right. Luckily, they didn't play him a lot of cover too, though. So he was actually able to kind of play in his wheelhouse inside of 15 yards. Right. So they did a good job of kind of putting guys in position of strength. Marcus Homer, thank you for joining. Yeah, we did just talk about the run game. We'll get into that a little bit more as we talk about the Giants game because we do still have to talk Giants. Right now, we're just doing a quick game recap of what we saw in last week's game. Before we move on, let me address. I know people are talking about Blue and they're talking about Leofow, and I've seen people like go into full, like overblown panic mode, as if the last coaching staff was playing favorites, and the new coaching staff is holding back guys. Let's talk about Blue for a second, the first one. And if you guys watched the show last week, Amanda and I both told you there's no shot Jaden Blue's going to play this game. We even went through the roster and we picked out, well, Amanda picked out all 8 inactives. I picked out 7. Yeah, because you got Mozzie right, and I didn't. I said it would be James Houston. And I pointed out all 8 of the, I pointed out 7 of the inactives. You pointed out all 8. There was no chance for him to play. And the reason is because you got a new coaching staff. You got a 5th round running back who missed all of training camp with injuries, and he only had 9 snaps of NFL football. And by the way, we have no clue what Javonte Williams would be. So let's assume Javonte Williams just wet the bed. Are you telling me they're going to rely on Jaden Blue to come in and be the savior without having seen him play at all? And he's coming off an injury?
No.
There was not a chance he was playing in week 1. Now, week 2, we can have a conversation because now we know Javonte Williams can carry 80, 90% of the load, and you only need Blue for 8 or 9 snaps. But without seeing what Williams could do, there's no chance you're going to put the ball in Jaden Blue's hand in week 1. And I agree. He should play this game.
Miles is a Super Bowl champion too, right? I mean, didn't he win? Was he with them in 2018? Yeah, okay.
He was with the Eagles. Yeah.
I thought so. But say you got a Super Bowl champion as a veteran.
5-year vet, right.
I mean, you got to bring him in. It's just, it would be pointless not to have Miles Sanders out there. Now, do I think this would be the perfect game to get Blue acclimated because of who our opponent is? If I was going to bring, and you could almost, but there's also the thought, I'm going to say this. There's also the thought that they might not bring Blue up because it could look like punishment to someone like Miles Sanders, and they don't want that to come across as that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, so we have to see. But when it comes to the run game, Javonte Williams looked like his college self. My goodness, that was impressive. Yeah. Impressive. Now I see why we didn't watch him in the preseason. They knew what they had. So, and Phil Maffa, I think Blue, one of our rookies, let's not even say Blue, one of our rookies with Javonte Williams is going to be perfect. Perfect. So, I think we actually are going to be very, very set because Javonte's here, 1-year deal. Miles here on a 1-year deal. I think with the rookies we have, they did very, very well to have a 1-2 punch moving into next season. So we don't need a running back next year if Blue and Moffa both work out the way I expect them to.
Right.
So.
Right. But yeah, DJ Dog, I agree with everything you said. It's a little bit of Monday morning quarterbacking because you simply don't know. But if, like I said before, if Javonte Williams gets hurt or he just looks like he's walking in quicksand, you don't want to rely on Jaden Blue to come in and have to pass protect and run the ball on 1st and 10 and be a third down back because we don't know what he is. He's coming off an injury. And then same thing on the defensive side of the ball. I know I wanted to see Leofau too. Not a bigger Leofau fan that you can find than me. But first game of the year, you got Kenneth Murray, who's a veteran. You've got Jack Sanborn, who is basically the defensive coordinator's pet cat. Both of these guys know the playbooks like the back of their hands. It's the first game of the year. You're gonna put the vets out there. Now they should have made some transitions. They should have called an audible at some point. But they did settle down the second half, so you got to give them credit for that. But at some point, first half, they probably should have brought Leofau in more. But I definitely understand why they didn't use him as much. Now, if you want to talk Damone Clark versus Leofau, we can have a long conversation about that one. But Kenneth Murray, Jack Sanborn, I understand the reason why. But I say all that to say, I expect to see a lot more Leofau, and I do expect to see Blue this week. All right. Marty Vol, thank you for joining us. Haven't seen you in a while, so appreciate you dropping in. Sanborn needs to be first down and goal line, and that's pretty much it. Because he looks pretty good inside the box playing downhill. Anything other than that, no. Yeah, they did settle down a little bit, Jeff. All right. I saw Jeff Pop creeped in. Jeff Pop, thank you for joining us as well. And Kilo joining us.
Welcome.
Appreciate you joining. So Kilo takes us into our first storyline before we go to the Giants game. So first storyline of the night. Kilo kind of touched bases on it. Got some bad news today. Sounds like Deron Bland injured his foot in practice on Monday. He was seen in a boot today, and it was reported that he'll probably miss a couple of weeks. Amanda, how devastating was this injury to you?
Well, with how well we played last week at the corner position, I mean, we had sat there and talked over and over again, before the season started about what we were going to do with Diggs out. And then I hate to say it, but it never fails. You give someone a contract and they get hurt. I mean, it's just like the NFL curse. Someone gets paid, they get hurt. It's amazing how that works. But if there was any game that I was going to go into where I didn't have Deron Bland in the slot, it would be the game against the Giants.
Okay.
So yes, it's crap, but this is a good game, I guess, to see who we have kind of in the back. Luckily, it's not Diggs because we're going to need someone out there on Neighbors. So I'm glad it's not. I'm glad it's not that, and hopefully we'll have him back for when we need him week 4.
Yeah. We'll see. It doesn't sound like it's going to be.
I know.
Yeah, it says weeks. It hadn't said how many weeks. I guess we'll find out soon if they put them on IR or not, because IR means 4 weeks automatically. So if they think it's less than 4 weeks, we'll probably know by Friday, because they're going to want to open a roster spot up to bring somebody in.
And is Revel on IR, or is he? I know he was on non-football injury. So
let's see. No, Siobhan Revel is not on IR. He's just out.
Okay.
Kalen Carson is on IR.
So he's still on the non-football injury list, I guess?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, they can bring him back whenever they want to.
issue with that, Jeff, is I like Gilly. Don't get me wrong, but Gilly's not a slot guy.
Yeah.
So Bland's our slot guy. So I said the same thing and then started thinking about it. So
Yep. But yeah, you're right about that. Sign a guy to a big contract and look for the injury bug to strike.
yeah, I mean, no offense. I'm just waiting for the. I wouldn't be shocked if I've already said it. I expect to see and maybe it won't happen, but big contract and not having any football contact all off season. I expected Micah to be hurt, but I don't mean that. I don't want him to get hurt. It's just the way it always goes. You get a look at Dak, big contract last year, got injured halfway through the season. It's just the nature of the NFL.
Yep. All right, so Donald Ford takes us into our second storyline of the night. Got a little bit of good news earlier today. We talked earlier about how Fowler and Sam Williams were just terrible at containing and how in the first half they gave up a couple of big plays. Well, the Cowboys made an attempt to address that by bringing in former first overall pick Jadeveon Clowney for a visit. Jadeveon Clowney's last 2 seasons, he averaged about 40 tackles. One season he had, I believe, 8.5 sacks, and the other season he had 5.5 sacks.
Yep.
So while he's not just a premier pass rusher, he does add to that sack total, and he's a great run defender. So I made a tweet earlier. He's basically a better version of what we got from DeMarcus Law in his last year here. Unfortunately, just like Jeff Pop says, he left without a contract. To me, that's not too concerning. The fact that he came here means he doesn't have a lot of options. And there weren't any reports that he left Dallas. There were just reports that he left the stadium without a contract. So,
and he stayed almost all day.
Yeah.
He was up there with Josh Brent over like there's this, if you've ever been to the Star at the practice field outside, there's this like ledge kind of that goes around and you can stand and watch. And it's a very known place for Jerry to end up watching. He was sitting there watching, and a player that's not interested in joining the team, I'm sorry, they're not going to stand there and watch another football team. So I think that that's very positive in that outlook. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him back tomorrow. Either way, we sign him this week or not, he's not going to play Friday.
Yeah.
Play Friday, play Sunday. I just don't think that's going to happen, no matter how much we'd want it to. You got to get him back in, get him in football shape. So you probably got to sign him to the practice squad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just think about it that way. So don't get upset because he doesn't have a deal yet. It's very possible a yet. That's at least I think it's a yet. I expect us to sign him.
I agree. I do expect he'll probably be in a luxury box on Sunday. Yeah.
With Jerry.
Yep. And unfortunately, if the defensive ends look good, he'll probably go on the practice squad. If they look bad, he'll fill that 53-man roster spot that Winfrey left behind. So I don't think that's a closed chapter with Clowney, kind of like Jeff said. But again, he's not playing this week, so there's really no rush to get him signed on a contract.
And if Jerry liked him enough, Jerry would tell him, hey, I'm going to sign you. I just can't do it yet. I mean, Jerry's not a guy that, if Jerry wants something, Jerry gets something. 90%. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is.
Yeah, we got a ton of money, so his contract wouldn't be that expensive.
What do you think? I was thinking on that. So I was thinking vet minimum with incentives, like per sack incentive. I thought that'd be a really neat way to structure it. And Jeff, that's my exact. I actually thought that very, very, very much so could happen. Cut or trade Mozzie and sign Clowney. I would not be surprised. That's definitely the hole that they're filling if we sign someone. So, no, I don't think, Jeff, I know when you talk about Parsons, if Jerry wanted to sign him, Micah didn't want to leave. I don't think Micah's still talking about how he didn't want to leave Dallas.
Yeah.
I think people don't realize the drastic difference in stadium structure and workout areas. There is none better than the Dallas Cowboys complex when it comes to facilities. I just don't. I've seen so many insides of that. Micah's still talking about being here. It's just that Micah wanted too much money, and there's rumor that before Micah even said I want to trade, they were already talking about trading the guy.
Yeah.
So I think Jerry knew we couldn't sign him. I'm not too angry at Jerry. I'm even less angry than I was after last week's game. So
yeah. So let me look at Clowney's last 4 contracts.
alrighty.
1 year, $8 million, 1 year, $10 million, 1 year, $2.5 million, 1 year, $8 million. So, and he was cut last year in the middle of his 1 year, $8 million contract. So I would probably say you're right. If they sign him, I'd probably say the numbers anywhere from $2 million to $6 million with incentives. That would be my guess. But that'll include him going to the practice squad for at least a week. And again, that's going to be an unguaranteed contract. So just like the Panthers did last year, if he comes in and you don't like what you see, you can just cut him without any consequence. Now, you say that Ice Cold Cowboy. He played with the Panthers last year.
Yeah,
he played with the Panthers last year.
I'm about to say he was with the Panthers last year. I think Clowney just wants to play. Stephon Gilmore posted something hilarious too. He goes, "Man, it's the first time in 14 years I'm unemployed," and it was it's so funny. So I think Clowney's kind of in that same boat. He's unemployed. He wants a job.
Right. And I think fans forget that they see the name and they think about what they were 5 years ago.
Right.
But this is 2025. Both of those guys are 32, 33 years old.
Yep.
They're hoping the phone rings. Nobody's knocking down their door anymore like it used to be.
Right. My biggest concern with the whole Clowney thing that it came out that he was here is there are some shady teams out there that can pick up a phone now just to make sure the Cowboys don't get him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll definitely be something to pay attention to over the next probably 72 hours to 5 days. See if they get to show a clip of him in the skybox on Sunday. See if he gets a call from somebody else to join their team on Friday, make a visit. But honestly, most team visit days are Tuesday or Wednesday. So just remember, if a player is going to sign with a team, they're going to do a visit on Tuesday. If they come on Wednesday, they're really just coming for a free trip. Because like Amanda said, nobody's going to sign a player on Wednesday and then he plays on Sunday. Now, if you bring them in on Tuesday, you can kind of get them acclimated. You can get them in the classroom on Tuesday. You can get them on the field on Wednesday, Thursday, and then you can see what you got. But if you're bringing in a guy on Wednesday, there's no chance he can play that week.
Right.
All right, so we're officially putting the Eagles in the rearview mirror, and we are moving on to the New York Football Giants. So let's go to a quick tale of the tape between these two teams. Scoring offense, the Giants only scored 6 points last week. The Cowboys put up 20. Scoring defense, the Giants allowed 21 points. The Cowboys allowed 24 points. The turnover differential is 0 because neither team gave up a turnover or got a turnover. I'm going to have to add a fourth column to show sacks probably. But yeah, just quick look at the tail of the tape. Our offense is much more explosive. To be honest, watching the all 22 of the Giants and Commanders game, they have some really good ends, but their defensive tackles didn't play as well as I expected, and their linebackers are awful. So if we can get past that first level, it's going to be really interesting, especially if we can get a guy like Jaden Blue on the field.
Yeah.
We did lose a fumble. My mistake, special potion. So it should be -1 for us. You're right. We did lose a fumble. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, no. I was just saying that was it is. I mean, a fumble is a turnover.
Yeah.
Fumble's definitely a turnover, William. Was it Brian Burns? Isn't that one of their defensive tackles, or is that an end? I can't
No,
remember. Is he?
he's an end.
He's an end. Okay. Who is their DT?
Their DT is former first round pick. I just went blank on his name. In my opinion, probably at worst the third best defensive tackle in the league. I think he had like 9 sacks last year. Dexter Lawrence from Clemson. Yeah, so Dexter Lawrence is a really good defensive tackle. To me, he's their best player on the defense. If we can find a way to trap him like we did the Eagles defensive tackle and then kind of allow the other guys to try to beat us, I think we should be even more explosive against the run than we were last week.
Right. Abdul did look pretty good, but the problem is, just like Malik was so angry on the sidelines because Russell couldn't get, they were both very frustrated. Big names that end up on teams like that get very frustrated very quickly.
Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and go into some of our key matchups for this week's game. So for me, I can always do some of the obvious ones, but I try to look at the ones that I feel like will have a major impact in the outcome of the game. So let's take a look at a couple of these key matchups.
Key matchups.
All right, so the first key matchup is the big one. We talked about it in storylines. When I first made this slide, DaRon Bland was active in the middle against Wan'Dale Robinson, but now DaRon Bland is gone. So who's going to step up? More than likely, I believe Kemen Hall is suspended whenever he gets pulled up from the practice squad. So even if we wanted to use him, we couldn't. We still have Zion Childress. I would be shocked if he's not one of our 2 practice squad guys called up this week. And on the roster, we have a nickelback named Reddy Stewart. So if you guys recall, around the 53-man roster development, the Cowboys had Zion Childress and Andrew Booth both on the roster, and then they cut both of them after waivers to pick up 2 cornerbacks. One cornerback was a 6'2" outside corner that I believe played in Miami, if I'm not mistaken. And then there was another nickelback corner who was on the Bears practice squad, who they said Eberflus really liked, but he couldn't find a spot for him on the roster while he was there. And that kid's name is Reddy Stewart. So more than likely, Reddy Stewart's probably going to be our starting nickelback this week with some Zion Childress mixed in. Now, people underestimate Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson, former Kentucky player, runs a 4.3. Last year, with terrible quarterback play, he had 140 targets. That's wide receiver 1 level targets. And he had 90 catches for 800 yards and I believe 6 or 7 touchdowns. But because the Giants were just so trash and he's not a household name and the quarterback was who the quarterback was, this kid was overlooked. But this kid has talent. And now you've got him with a better quarterback, and you've also got him with a healthy-ish Malik Neighbors on the outside and a healthy-ish Darius Slayton on the other side. And last week, he had 8 targets, 6 catches, 50 yards. So he can make catches in bunches. That's 9 yards a catch for your slot receiver. That's pretty good stats. And that's who we have to compete with. I wouldn't be shocked if he's their leading receiver this week. Just like Ice Cold Cowboy said, he ain't bad, just bad team for him and zero value in fantasy. That's the one that kills him. He's going to get you 5 or 6 catches a game, sometimes 8 catches. The problem is he's only going to give you 50 or 60 yards.
Yeah.
But the timeliness of his catches are what can be killer in a real life football game. and he does have the explosiveness. If you don't watch him, he can make a big play. So honestly, I'm expecting him to make one big play. He's the guy I'm watching on that offense.
Um,
All right,
I agree. I just want to say I do agree, but his downfall also is his quarterback, who is
that's true.
the game has passed him by, and he's out there trying. I'm shocked that they have decided to roll out Russell Wilson yet again. I guess
The
because it's
correct
week
word is
2.
happy, Amanda.
Oh,
We're happy that they're rolling out Russell
okay. Yeah,
Wilson.
I mean, I'm thrilled. Really, I don't think Brian Dable's listening. So the man's
Yeah.
a lunatic. I mean,
Hmm.
what are you doing? Did you not see enough? Thanks for doing so, but did you not see enough? No, they've already said Russell's starting. Like,
Yeah.
he's named the starter. Like, Brian came out and said they're rolling with him. Now, look, could they switch halfway through? Sure. Um, but I mean, it's for now. That's what they're saying. So
It may be too little, too late by the time they make that pull because he's gonna have to look really bad to me for them to pull Russell Wilson.
yeah.
I don't know what Russ has on these owners and GMs and coaches, but he gets an unlimited leash, and I don't see why.
What he has on him. Like he's got ever living blackmail or something.
I I don't know. He shouldn't have been starting in Pittsburgh. I mean, last year Justin Fields, I believe they had a winning record with Justin Fields the quarterback, and he was looking decent. And then Russ comes back, and
Yep.
Russ just is named the starter the rest of the year. I didn't get it. And
Marcus, I'm sorry. I'm. It's not that I'm sleeping on him. It's that we've had multiple years of him showing us what he is.
yeah,
Ever since he left Seattle, he's done. I don't mean that hatefully, and you could say it's the epitome of bad team. Yeah, there is no cooking anymore.
yeah,
It's
just yes,
Sierra.
Sierra. Yep. I mean, we watched him against us. I mean, he had a bad game against us, but you watch those other games leading up to the Cowboys game last year, and Justin Fields was moving that offense. And then it just went downhill after Russ came back. Russ had one decent game and then like 8 crappers. All right, let's keep the key matchups going. And after we do key matchups, we'll probably do the giveaway for the next jersey.
Sounds
So
good.
for you guys who are watching right now, stick with us for another 10 or 15 minutes. We'll be giving away that jersey. So for those of you watching on X, if you want a chance to win this overshown jersey, you have time to move on over to YouTube or Facebook to be able to answer the trivia question to win. All right, so next key matchup, I think it's probably going to be the second biggest one in this game. Since I found out Deron Bland is injured, Brian Burns had 2 sacks last week in a bad overall game, and that was against what's the name of the tackle they just traded for from Houston,
Um,
former Ole Miss guy.
um,
I hate when I go live because I always forget these names. And Laramie Tunsil.
Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah. So Laramie Tunsil is the left tackle of the Commanders. Brian Burns had 2 sacks against him. Tyler Guyton, to me, had a relatively easy week last week, and he looked really good. I don't want to take anything away from him. But now he gets a real matchup against Brian Burns. Guyton's always up for it. Always had quick feet. Now his hands are straight. So, yeah, this is going to be a really good matchup to pay attention to. They kind of let him play on the island a little bit last week.
They
So
did.
we'll see if they do that again this week. We ran a lot of 21 personnel with 2 tight ends, and those tight ends were running routes. So Guyton was kind of left out there by himself. So he's going to get a real test this week because
I think I think him practicing with Tyron Smith really, or Tyron Smith really helped him
Mm-hmm.
in more ways than one. We saw so many people out there that really were working with Guyton. My mind just went blank, but multiple people out there encouraging, showing, teaching Tyler
Yeah.
Guyton. And that's encouraging to me. Anybody who will take extra time to go out and get better at their craft by calling in veterans that were some of the best in the league, you can't beat
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Uh, let's go to what I think is going to be the third biggest matchup, and that's going to be Trayvon Diggs versus Malik Neighbors. Now, Diggs played well last week, but he only played
Mm-hmm.
about 50% of the snaps. I would assume now that because Bland is injured, they have to ramp him up a lot more because we really can't afford to have a bunch of backups on the field with a guy like this. So I expect to see Malik Neighbors, see a lot of Trayvon Diggs. Um, Diggs dealing with the knee. Neighbors been dealing with the back for about a month. So both of them are coming in a little bit banged up. But this should still be a really good matchup between
Yeah,
these two
so
players.
it says that this was 9 hours ago. It says Malik Neighbors uh, for week 2. Let's see. He was limited at practice again today with the same back issue.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it looks like he'll be limited again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see on that. And then of course Andrew Thomas is also hurt. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Malik Neighbors actually came into the NFL with his back injury. So he's been dealing with this ever since last year. And Jeff Pop says Neighbors is a time bomb. I'm assuming you're talking about either the back injury or the harsh looks he was giving Russell Wilson on the sideline during the game, because
oh,
they did show quite a few of those.
he was mad. He was screaming at Dayball at one point, like
Yeah,
screaming at him. He was angry.
yeah. So Diggs has a chance to go ahead and put the nail in the coffin on that one and just completely help that team implode from the inside. So it's going to be definitely a good matchup to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Let's see, another good matchup. So this one is kind of based off of what I saw last week. And actually, I was supposed to change this. It should have been Jack Sanborn right here. Because when you watch the All 22, what I thought was interesting, Sanborn was playing the Mike linebacker spot and Murray was playing the wheel. But Murray was calling the plays. So it's kind of rare that you see the wheel linebacker being the green dot guy. Unless it's some weird situation. So this should be Sanborn, because typically your Mike linebacker is going to cover your running back out of the backfield. Tyrone Tracy, while he's not the best running back in the world, he's super explosive. He's a converted wide receiver. He's great running routes out of the backfield. And I just have some serious concerns with Sanborn trying to keep up with him if they start running routes out of the backfield. Tracy's also, he's an off tackle runner. And if you guys follow the show, I always talk about how those off tackle runners give our linebackers fits. I think he's another guy who, if given the opportunity with his explosiveness, he can give us some problems if he can hit off tackle and our linebacker can't get there in time. So yeah, Jack Meeker, I agree with everything you say about Smith in the inside. But I think this game Tracy can hurt us as more of an off tackle runner, especially if our ends do like they did last week and don't play sound contained football. Jack Meeker, that's a great point. Andrew Thomas may be the reason why Dart isn't starting yet. You don't want to put your first round pick out there without having your blindside protector. So that makes a lot of sense. So since you bring that up, that does take me to my next key matchup. And that one is Donovan Zaraku versus James Hudson. So Amanda, you brought up the stat
Yep.
about the pressures. What were we, second or first last
Second.
week? Second.
Only behind the Steelers.
Yeah. So we were second last week in pressures, even though we didn't have a lot of sacks, but we played against a super mobile quarterback, probably the fourth most mobile quarterback in the league, behind Allen, Jackson, and
Jaden.
Daniels.
Yeah.
He's probably even more mobile than Mahomes at this point. So yeah, he gave us problems. Russ may not. He can give us those problems if given the chance, but he probably won't. James Hudson is a career backup. He's going to be the starting left tackle. Ezra Rocco got home about 3 times last week.
Yep.
Two times he was severely held, and then one time he was just like a half a second too slow. So he was right there, and now you get a team with a worse quarterback and a worse tackle. Because last week he was going against arguably the best left tackle in football, second best behind Penei Sewell. But now you give him against some no-name. It could get ugly. I'm just putting it out there. And we'll talk about that once we get to over-unders. Ice Cold Cowboy saying Easy is my new favorite. Beast in the making. Jeff Pop, that's a good point. Guyton was the lowest graded lineman in the game. That may be true, but we had some really good grades last week, including Guyton. So being the lowest graded lineman on a game where nobody gave up a pressure pretty much and everybody had high grades, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I can remember some years where who was our right tackle? I can't remember the name now. But there were some years where our right tackle was the lowest graded guy, but we had Travis Frederick, Lyle Collins, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin as the other 4 guys. So somebody's going to be the lowest. That doesn't mean it's a bad player. All right, let me see. Another key matchup. We'll go to the 2 most obvious ones, of course. George Pickens versus Paul Adebo. This is going to be a really good matchup because Paul Adebo is a super physical corner. He's 6'2". He's a Stanford kid, so he used to get a lot of excuse me. He used to get a lot of Richard. What's Richard's name? What's the Seattle corner?
Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman. He used to get a lot of Richard Sherman comparisons. He has that same length, that same intelligence, same physicality. He just hasn't had a chance to put it together well. George Pickens is another physical receiver. So I think this is going to be a good physical matchup on the edges. And on top of that, I think Dak is probably going to try to target Pickens more. So Paul Adebo is going to get a lot more chances.
I expect at least one personal foul on this key matchup.
I would agree with that.
I'm not sure if it'll go to Paul or to George, but somebody's going to get a little overzealous.
I would absolutely agree with that, knowing how these 2 players operate.
Uh-huh.
All right, last key matchup, of course, CeeDee Lamb versus Drew Phillips. Drew Phillips, 5'9" nickel. CeeDee Lamb is probably going to have a field day with him. I hope he's working on the jug machines all week because he'll probably have another 9 or 10 target game. And let's just hope these passes aren't dropped like last week. Now, I don't have this as an over-under, Amanda, but how many targets you think George Pickens gets this week?
I am going to hope we see at least 6 or 7.
Okay. I'm thinking the same thing. I have at least 6. So yeah, I'm right there along with you. But sometimes the matchup and the opportunity is just too good to pass up. And I think CeeDee Lamb versus Drew Phillips, that's going to be one where every time you look over there, it's going to be like, how can I not throw him the ball? So that one's going to be interesting. All right, so we got X factors and over unders left. Amanda, you want to do the X factors or go ahead and do the jersey now?
We can do the jersey now, then
Okay.
get that done.
All right, guys. So for everybody who's been sticking with us, as you know, last week Amanda came on the show and she had 2 overshown jerseys that we're going to give away. We gave one away during the show with the trivia question, and then the other one was going to be given away with who predicted the game score. Unfortunately, nobody got close to the score except Amanda and I. So it didn't seem fair to give a jersey to somebody who predicted the score to be 33-18 Dallas. That just didn't seem fair to me. So,
Right.
and that was the closest one actually, 33-18 Dallas.
Yeah, that's pretty far on the spread.
And didn't even get the right team. William Wiggins said that question was hard. Hey, you're getting a free jersey here. I can't give you an easy question, and we've got almost 200 people watching. So I wanted to make you guys think a little bit before we just gave it away. This question is probably going to be as hard. So we'll see. All right. So Amanda, let the people know about who's sponsoring the jersey tonight.
All right. So 951 Sports is a very, very good friend of mine. It's owned by Justin Robinson. He's out of California, and he has some of the highest end quality custom jerseys you can get. He's actually making me currently a second fan of the year jersey because mine was signed at the game. So he's made a custom jersey for me, and the quality is spectacular. You really cannot tell a difference. In fact, I prefer his because of the stitching. It's absolutely perfect. So they're high quality replica jerseys, and this is a overshown jersey throwback Thanksgiving edition. And if you need any jerseys, message him. He's got a special going on right now. I don't remember the exact special. Forgive me, Justin, but message him. I think if you buy 2 or 3 jerseys, you get one. There's a discount. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but there's a really good. Thing. Don't say the wrong thing and hold me accountable here. But there's a really, really good deal if you want to reach out. If you can't find him, you can go to the DC for L group. He is the only person allowed to sell jerseys in DC for L, simply because that's the quality they are. And I know you're going to get them if you purchase them. Yeah. We're very particular about sellers because we want to make sure if you're spending your hard-earned money, you're going to get what you buy. And there's too many scammers out there today. So if you see something for sale in DC for L, you can trust it's been checked over and over again, verified, and they're there because they want to be there, and they've worked out with us to make sure that you're safe to spend your money. So anyways, that's 951 jerseys. And if you want one, just go find him in DC for L.
Yeah. Another great thing about this group, you talk about the prizes and giveaways. If you want to get good apparel, I mean, Amanda's always doing giveaways with great merchandise. We've got great vendors like 951 Sports. Like Amanda said, there are some other Facebook pages, Facebook groups that have some shady at best people selling jerseys and merchandise. If you want high quality stuff, join the group, find Justin 951 Sports. He'll get you right for this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we do the question, got to give you guys the rules. If you win, you must contact Amanda within 72 hours. We do ask that you are a Cowboys fan if you win. We normally haven't had that problem. I almost had to give it away to an Eagles fan last week because they were the only ones who predicted the Eagles to win. We do ask that you follow the Facebook and YouTube channels for Bluff City Cowboys and DC4L. And we don't have this problem much anymore. But if we can't see your name, we don't know you won it. So you do have to give Facebook permission.
All right. I'll be right back, Marcus.
All right. Okay. So while Amanda's stepping away, we'll go ahead and do that trivia question. I thought it was fairly easy, but I thought last week was easy, but it's according to William Wiggins, there was a difficult question. So this week's trivia question to win the jersey is, read the question carefully. The Cowboys traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, former first-round pick. Who was the last former first-round pick traded away by the Cowboys? It does not have to be a player that was drafted by the Cowboys, but the player was a former first round pick and we traded him away. So let me know in the comments who was the last former first round pick the Dallas Cowboys traded away. The first person who gets it right in the comments will be the winner. Who is Walker? I don't know who Walker is. We did not trade away. Jeff Pop, tell me who Walker is, because you might be right, but if you're not, we do have a winner in the comments with the answer that I found. So if you tell me who Walker is, Jeff Pop. I don't know who Walker. Oh, Herschel Walker. Okay, yeah. You went way too far back. The correct answer was given by Jack Meeker, and the answer was Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was a former first-round pick for the then Oakland Raiders. The Cowboys traded for him for a second-round pick, and then we traded him away to Cleveland for a fifth-round pick. So congratulations, Jack Meeker. You are the winner of the overshown jersey. So, as the rule stated, contact Amanda within 72 hours, and she'll connect you to Justin, and they'll get that jersey out to you. The only thing we ask is that you take a picture with the jersey, send it to Amanda so she can post it in the group, just so people can know that we are giving away jerseys here and they can see the quality of it. So, congratulations to Jack Meeker tonight, and Jeff Dunnigan from last Wednesday night for winning the overshown jerseys. All right. The question was, who was the last former first round pick traded away by the Cowboys? So Marcus Homer asked, was my comment not seen with the answer? So I'm looking right now. Jeff Pop was first with Walker, then Jack Meeker, then Ice Cold Cowboy had the correct answer, but Jack Meeker's comment came up first. Then Jeff Pop again, and then Marcus Homer. You were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You were number 7 in the comments. Jack Meeker and Ice Cold Cowboy were quick with it. So unfortunately, I saw your comment. It just came in late. So congratulations to Jack Meeker for winning the jersey. Again, contact Amanda within 72 hours. We'll get that right out to you. Daniel Pena, thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you tuning in. All right, Amanda. So the trivia question was, who was the last former first round pick traded away by the Cowboys? Because Michael Parsons was a first round pick traded away. Did you hear the answer?
I didn't.
Who do you think? What would your guess be?
Oh, man, that's not fair. I don't know.
Former
I couldn't tell you right now.
It doesn't have to be a player that we drafted, just a guy that was a former first round pick that was traded away.
Man, I don't know, really.
Okay, well, the answer was Amari Cooper.
Oh, was it? Oh, well, that's hateful. I have a obsession, not really obsession. I just love Amari. But that is the last one, isn't it?
It was, yeah.
Did we cut Taco or did we trade him?
No, Taco was cut.
Okay, and then the Chiefs picked him up. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's keep the show going on. Again, congratulations, Jack Meeker, Jeff Dunnigan, on your jerseys. We still have 4 more rivalry games after this one. So there may be some other jerseys given away in the future, but there'll definitely be other prizes. They may not be jerseys.
And I will definitely be joining for some other games that I want to pop in on, like the Chiefs game for Thanksgiving. If we're able to get a show in that Wednesday, I'll bring something. I mean, we got prizes.
Yeah.
I got all sorts of prizes.
I got a ton of lanyards I need to give away, so I'll be giving away Cowboys lanyards throughout the season. And those will probably be given away on the pregame show with game predictions. All right, so let's go to next segment in the show, and that segment is our X factors. Once again, we all know the big name players who have a serious effect on the game. I like to put an emphasis on some guys who may be lesser known or who have the opportunity to have a major impact in the game. To me, those are what X factors are. The big guys are going to affect the game because that's who they are. But sometimes these smaller guys who most people don't know about can have a chance to have a big effect. So we got a couple of big names coming up first, but I think they haven't had an impact yet, but they can. The first one is former first round pick Abdul Carter. Last week, they're still trying to figure out where to play him. So he's playing as a Sam linebacker. He's playing as a defensive end. They're doing NASCAR packages where they line him up as a Mike, like we used to do Micah Parsons last year, where you line him up over a center and let him pick a gap. They're putting him all over the field. Unfortunately, because of the way the game flow was going last week, they didn't have a lot of third and long opportunities to use him, but they definitely tried to use him like a chess piece. If we allow this game to stay close or we get in third and long situations, I feel like Abdul Carter is going to have a couple of chances to make his presence felt. All right. See, next X factor is Tyrone Tracy. Now, I just talked about this one.
Yep.
I talked about Jack Quicksandborn and how he looks as a Mike linebacker. Tyrone Tracy, former receiver, 4'4", great out of the backfield as a catcher. He's an off-tackle runner, where historically that's been our biggest problem. I see Will Vassar giving me a little bit of trivia. So I appreciate that, Willie Vassar. Thank you for joining us as well on YouTube. Ice Cold Cowboy has Ferguson as his offensive X factor. I can see that because for some reason tight ends have been historically very successful in this game, going all the way back to Dalton Schultz. Blake Jarwin had a great game against them. And then, of course, Jason Witten just made his career off torching the Giants. So going back to X factors, I just talked about the history of tight ends. There's another position that's had a good history against this team too, and that is the left defensive end. I don't know what it is about the Giants' right tackles, but D-Law would get 2 sacks a year. Both of those sacks would come against the New York Giants. You look at last year when we played against them, and I believe – who was the defensive end we had last year from Cincinnati?
Quinn?
I'm just – no.
No.
I hate going – Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson had a good game against the Giants last year as well. So I think Nealon's going to have some opportunities. He got a sack last week, the only sack we had in the game. I think he's going to have some chances to make some big plays over there. And I agree, Jack Meeker. Turpin does have to be more involved this game. Brandon Aubrey's always an X factor. So yeah, he did good, definitely.
Wasn't he who got the sack?
Yeah, Marshawn Nealon was. It should have been a half sack because I thought they should have gave the defensive tackle a half sack as well, but they gave Nealon the whole sack. All right, and somebody put this one in the comments. My next X factor, Jaden Blue. Honestly, I expect him to play this week. We talked about it earlier in the show. Javonte Williams, proven he can be an every down back, proven he can give you 15 to 20 carries. He can play 80 to 90% of the snaps. So now you don't have to rely on having a veteran like Miles Sanders behind him. You can put Blue in there, give him his 8 or 9 plays, and see what he can do with it. Watching last week's game and watching how Beal, the running back Crockett for the Commanders as a rookie, just torched that defense. I can see Jaden Blue given the opportunity doing the exact same thing.
Yeah,
So go
I
ahead.
I see him as the lightning. You know, you got the big power back in Williams. I see Jaden as the lightning, and I want a thunder and lightning when I talk about my running back duo.
Mm-hmm.
I was real concerned we were going to go into this and do track by committee again for some reason because
Yeah.
but they didn't do it. So I'm really hoping now we've got Javonte settled in at number 1. Let's get Blue in there. Let's give him some opportunities, and his hands are great out of the backfield.
Yeah.
He is a great receiving back too. So he's so versatile. Man, I hope they don't make him inactive this week. This is the game to bring him up to. I don't want to do it in Chicago. I don't want Chicago to be his first game.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and yeah, like I said, the Giants linebackers are not very good. So you get a chance. I just talked about you get Tracy out in open space. Same thing I said about Tracy, we can say it about Blue. Thibodeau is still a little undisciplined when it comes to containing. Blue can be one of those off tackle runners who can take it to the house. They don't have a lot of speed on that defense. So if Blue breaks, we don't have to worry about him getting caught from behind like we worried about with the Eagles last week. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him get an opportunity this week. All right, and my last X factor is a surprise to most people, but Russell Wilson.
which Russell we getting?
Well, it's not really Rich Russell. When I watched the Giants game last week, Russell had 45 yards rushing. And Russell hates to run. But in that game, when they started really pinning their ears back, they got a little sloppy when it came to contain. And Russell made them pay a couple of times. I don't want to see that happen again this week. If Russ can get over the fears and actually cross the line of scrimmage, if he can repeat what he did last week, this week early in the game, we may have some problems. So that's the only reason I'll put him in as an X factor, only because I know he has the ability to run. He just definitely chooses not to. But yeah, I agree. I think he's going to look like he needs to retire after this game, and they may retire him at halftime. All right, so that's pretty much all the X factors I have. Now we will get to the last segment of the show, which is over under. So for those of you who are new to the show, over under is where I try to gauge the temperature of Cowboys Nation. So I come up with some statistics, and I'll ask you guys to tell me, do you think that player goes over or under that statistic, just to get an idea of how you guys feel about how the game may go with some of these players. So let's get into it. Last segment of the show, over under.
Over under.
All right, so the first over under. We just talked about Jaden Blue as an X factor. He has the ability to take one to the house. Personally, I think he plays this week, but regardless of what the coaches said, I think he still plays this week. So if he does play, over under 25 yards rushing for Jaden Blue in his NFL debut. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right, Ice Cold Cowboy got an over. Jack Meeker's got an over. Amanda, what do you think? If Blue plays, 25 yards rushing, over under?
Over, easy. Like,
okay, just like Jack Meeker said.
You should have put like 50, and then maybe I would have probably still said over. But 25, easy.
Yeah. Ice Cold Cowboy and Jeff say the same thing. That's one play. I probably should have gone higher then. I didn't think about that. All right, so let's go to the next over under. I just talked about Russell Wilson as an X factor. He had 45 yards rushing last week. Over under 30 yards rushing for Russell Wilson this week. He had 45 yards last week. Jalen Hurts had 65 against us.
Yeah.
Do they clean up the outside contain? 30 yards rushing, Russell Wilson. What do you guys think in the comments? Over or under 30 yards rushing? And while you guys give me your thoughts, let me say this. So I've been doing a lot of just sports gambling. I don't make huge bets, but I really try to analyze and pick what I think is safe. I made a lot of money this weekend betting the overs on quarterbacks rushing. I think I bet on 7 quarterbacks, whatever the money line number was, all 7 hit. And then I kept betting on 3 quarterbacks every time the line kept going up, and they hit every time. So I think I hit like 13 bets on just quarterbacks running this weekend. I don't know if that's a testament to the mobility of the quarterbacks in the league or how bad the offensive lines will look, but they were all hitting. So over under. And the good thing about that, Jack Meeker, sacks don't count against quarterback rushes. So if a quarterback gets sacked, it does not count against them in terms of rushing yards. Ice Cold Cowboy said under his coffin.
That's a good answer.
What do you
Solid
think, Amanda?
answer.
You think we learned our lesson like Jeff said?
I believe it's under. Russell Wilson doesn't bother me. Now you throw out Jackson Dart, I'd be a little more concerned. I don't know why. I just feel like that's the better, because we wouldn't know what to expect. So with Russell, I'm not worried. Under.
Okay. All right. So for those of you guys that do sports betting, pay attention to those running back lines. I already got my bet in for Jaden Daniels tomorrow night. I think the lines was at 34 when I bet. To me, that's free money. So I plan on making at least 2 bets tomorrow night on Jaden Daniels once he crosses 34, and then whatever the second bet is, I'll probably do 2.
I can only do picks.
So,
yeah.
What, underdog?
I do underdog, and then FanDuel. I've always played FanDuel Fantasy. I've always done FanDuel Fantasy. But they just opened up a new one, FanDuel Picks, and it was if you played $5, they gave you $60 free.
Okay.
So I jumped in on that. So now I'm doing both, a little FanDuel Picks and underdog.
Now, when you say picks, do you mean like picking the team, or do you get to pick stats like this?
Pick stats. So you get to do stats, but so you can either do like with underdog, I usually pick 8 different things, and then I always do the flex play so that I can hit. If I hit 6, I still win. It ain't great, but I at least get my money back. So I typically do underdog and like, let's see. So I already have one in for Jaden Daniels tomorrow too. The over. I think they have 34 on rushing.
Yeah.
So I already did the over on that. And then like McLaurin yards, just stuff like that. Yards, all the basic stuff.
Okay.
I won last week. The last thing I needed to hit was Aaron Jones to get a touchdown and J.J. McCarthy to throw an interception. So I hit on that. But I don't go crazy. I just bet a couple dollars here and there on each game, try to stay fair.
Yeah.
I got a lot of people at my house.
Yeah.
I got a lot of people to take care of.
I'm the same way. I just do $5 bets. If I'm doing really good in the day, I may do a $10 bet, but I just really stick to like $5 bets just to stay active in a game I don't have any cares about. All right, next over under. We talked about George Pickens earlier in the show. He seemed checked out last week when the ball wasn't coming his way. He only had 4 targets, 3 catches, 30-something yards. Can he double his receiving yards this week? Over under 60 yards receiving George Pickens. Let me know what you guys think. Over under 60 yards receiving. I'm leaning over. I think this is going to be a really good physical matchup between him and Adebo.
Because of the drops last week with CD, I'd probably say slightly over. But that's we'll go slightly over. 60 yards is kind of where I have him at, so I would slightly over, but I can't say push. Marcus doesn't let me. He says he hates that word.
I hate it.
So tells
Gotta
me I'm
commit.
cheating if I say push. Got to commit to something.
All right, so it looks like the people who commented all said over. We got 2 more. So we got 3 more. All right, so we just talked about George Pickens. We only have 2 more. So we talked about George Pickens. Let's go to the other side of the ball. Malik Neighbors had a quiet game last week. This week he gets Trayvon Diggs. Neighbors dealing with that back injury. He had 70 yards last week. Over under 60 yards receiving from Malik Neighbors this week.
Ooh.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Over under 60 yards receiving for Malik Neighbors. Ice Cold Cowboy said over if healthy. Jack Meeker says under.
I actually think under 2. I think Wandale Robinson would have over that.
I agree.
I think Diggs will take care of Neighbors, and I think that slot is going to be real iffy with Robinson because of Bland. So I'll say under on Malik.
I agree. When I look at, like you said, when I look at Russell Wilson, if he stays in the whole game, he's not throwing the ball more than 25 times. And I would expect Wandale Robinson to probably get 10 to 12 of those targets, then a couple to the running backs, and then whatever's left to Neighbors. Neighbors only had 6 targets last week, but he did catch 5 for 71. If he gets 5 targets, 5 receptions this week, I don't think it's 71 yards. I don't think it's 60. So yeah, I agree. I think it's under as well.
Yeah.
Jeff says garbage time. I think this can be one of those games where last week we were second in pressures. We can be first or second in sacks because I think they're going to get home in this week's game. This is at Dallas, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. I think we're going to get those holding calls we didn't get last week. Ezra Raku, I think, is going to have a really big game. I think Nealon's going to have a really good game. Our defensive tackles, and Jack Meeker was putting this in the comments all day about Michael Smith, their guard, just getting overpowered in the inside. I can see that as well. And they still don't have their starting left tackle. So they have problems all across that line.
Yeah.
So I say all that, and that leads into the last over-under of the night. And as you guys know, the last over-under is usually an either or. So last over-under, which team gets more sacks? Is it the 3-headed first-round pick monsters and Brian Burns, Thibodeau, and Carter? Or is it Ezra, Fowler, and Nealon? Who gets more sacks this week? Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Huh.
Yeah, you're right, Jack Meeker. Dallas doesn't have to find the scrub. They're all scrubs. I'm right there with you. What do you think, Amanda? Which team gets more sacks?
I think our line's better than Washington's defensive line, and I expect Dallas to easily get more sacks. I think that this is a game they're coming into fired up because we should have won last week, and I think every player on that team knows it. So I expect this to be a very physical, almost Russell might not make it through the first half game. And not because he gets pulled. I'm just saying, old man, young men coming after him. Poor guy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about that, but our defensive tackles could have a field day on the inside against the center and the guard, and that's going to make it even worse on the outside with the backup tackle playing basically one-on-one. He had Ice Cold Cowboy has 3 sacks. I'm at 4 sacks, honestly. I think it's a 4-sack minimum game for us.
I agree.
Yeah.
Kenny's going to get one too since he didn't get one this week.
I'm
still riding with Kenny.
I'm with you. All right. So that's pretty much all we have for tonight's show. Hour and a half. The views stay consistent once again. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys continue to join us on this show. Hope you guys enjoy the content that we put out. And if you do, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure that you continue to join us every Wednesday night at 8:30 Central Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, and on X for the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I will be doing a pregame show this Sunday at probably 11:15. So if you guys want to come join me for pregame show, we'll be giving you the last minute notes on what players get called up from the practice squad, what the injury report looks like. I will give you my keys to victory, and then we'll do your game predictions, and we'll also get you guys bold predictions for this game. So I can already tell you right now, my bold prediction is 5 sacks. I'm taking it up one bold prediction. I think they get 4. My bold prediction is 5. So make sure you guys.
Since I'm not going to be there, my bold prediction is
Okay.
Turpin returns one for a returns it to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next bold prediction is a pick 6 by True.
Okay. All right. 2 bold predictions from Amanda before she leaves.
2.
All right, guys. So make sure you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying thank you, Jack. Ice Cold Cowboy. That's very kind of y'all both.
Yeah. So once again, make sure you guys join us every Wednesday night, 8:30 Central Standard Time. I will see you guys this Sunday about 11:15 for the pregame show, and that'll lead into a full slate of NFL football featuring the Dallas Cowboys. Thank you guys for watching as always. Definitely appreciate all of your support. And like we always say to end every show, let's go Cowboys. Let's get back on our winning ways leading into week 2. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next week.